Hello, my name is Haley Henson. I did option 3, so I did Super Freakonomics, and this is my presentation. So the most interesting thing about the book that I thought was most intriguing to me was when they started talking and discussing climate change and kind of innovative ways to solve climate change. One of them was they talked about geoengineering, and they were talking about unconventional methods like pumping sulfur dioxide into the stratosphere so that way it would mimic the effect of volcanic eruptions. This concept is conventional environmental thinking, and it kind of lets the reader know, or puts the idea in their head to consider alternative perspectives on how to address complex issues. So one of the things I did not like about the book was the gender inequality. I feel like this might have been a common one. I kind of read more about this also if I didn't understand something in the book, I looked it up to make sure I fully understood the concept. But when the chapter about how does a street prostitute relate to a store department Santa, I feel like that was kind of, talking about sex work and obviously how it is a negative thing, even though for some people that's just their job. And I feel like for men, if you don't see many men strippers on the street, but we don't ever hear about anything like that. So I think that was definitely my least favorite part of the book, just because it's kind of I don't know, it is very evident that every man or someone kind of thinks that way about women who do that for a living, and I just didn't like it, and that was my opinion on that. And I also want to add, it kind of just exemplifies how women aren't appreciated in that type of work. It is to use women, and they're kind of misrepresented in a way, and I feel like a lot of that work revolves around men, but a lot of men don't take the heat for it. Most women do. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the two articles I chose. I'm going to summarize them and then talk about the findings. I did write it down because I cannot remember all the information, so I'm going to be looking on and off for a little bit. Okay, so my first article was Observed Themes in an Established Literature, Annual Review of Organizational, Psychological, and Organizational Behavior is what it's by. So the article discusses the importance of psychological safety research since the 1990s, kind of emphasizing its relevance and navigating uncertainty in the complex issues in modern workplaces. It outlines 4 themes related to psychological safety. So that would be facilitating task completion, promoting learning behaviors, improving the work experience, and the role of leadership. So the article suggests that psychological safety is crucial for organizations to learn and perform effectively, especially in the context of challenges posed by the global pandemic. Overall, it highlights the significance of psychological safety in fostering resilience, innovation, and employee well-being, while also identifying areas for future research. So the findings from this article observed 2 major things. One was there is already a good amount of knowledge regarding psychological safety in the workplace and organizations. It's indicating significant progress in understanding the concept of safety in the workplace, which is a good sign, and it's improving. But this knowledge offers valuable implications for practical applications within organizational contexts. But despite that, the progress made, there are still notable gaps in the research on psychological safety, presenting opportunities for further research and exploration. And the section also identifies these gaps and proposes new ways for advancing theoretical understanding and practical application of psychological safety in workplace and organizations. Okay, so my second article was Racial Equity in Social Psychological Science, and it's by a guide for scholars, institutions, and the field. Okay, so this article addresses the racial inequality in social psychology, acknowledging its historical role in perpetuating stereotypes and upholding whiteness as the norm. It offers recommendations for scholars to combat this, including incorporating anti-racist principles and research practices, being transparent about methods and findings, and seeking institutional support for diversity initiatives. These efforts are aimed to foster a more equitable and anti-racist discipline. So the findings for that article was the acknowledgement of racism within the field of social psychology and emphasizes the importance of actively combating it. The authors argue that only being aware of racism is insufficient. Instead, psychological scholars and institutions must actively adapt anti-racist practices in their work. The article aims to provide social psychologists with the necessary socio-historical context, psychological foundations, and practical recommendations to effectively address racism within the discipline. The authors believe that the social psychology is well equipped to combat racial inequality, but the stress the need for self-reflection and action within the field before attempting to address broader societal issues. This article inspires concrete steps toward creating an anti-racist field and society within social psychology. That is all of my presentation. Hope you guys enjoyed and hopefully learned something. I hope everyone has a good summer and good luck on your projects.